In the climate environment, you don't just bring anybody because it's from my area, because my brother. No, the man must have a large mind for climate change. Because it is no longer activism now. It is diplomacy and it is economic.
On our interview segment, President and Founder, Association of Environmental Experts, Air Vice Marshal Akugbe Iyamu, assesses the environment sector under former President Muhammadu Buhari. He also made some recommendations on the way forward.
Recently, you had your, is it passing out ceremony, it is called?
Flying out ceremony.
Flying out ceremony.
After a glorious service to the Nigerian Air Force, 38 years.
Wow.
38 years, yeah. Very grateful to Nigeria, grateful to everybody. Grateful to Nigeria. They made me who I am, so that is why my passion is to give back to Nigeria. Yeah, because of the journey, I've been everywhere. Everywhere.
All right, congratulations from us.
Thank you very much.
All right. And we are also happy to have associated with you within this period.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so let's look at the Buhari administration in the last 8 years, if your memory can remind you, or whichever part of the year you want to look at within this 8 years of his administration in the environment sector. Are there things you think this administration did well in that sector that it should be applauded for?
A lot. It did quite a lot. In 2015, when he came, he went for the Great Green Wall funding. And the Sahara was almost taking its own big toll on the frontline states in Nigeria. So he set up the committee, and so far they have recovered almost 20 million hectares of land. He did that. He also set up he signed the Climate Act, which is to be the way we deal with the environment and the climate. He also established the Climate Change Council. And he also brought the Executive Order 009. If you walk around Abuja now, you can see toilets being constructed everywhere. Those are pilot programs. However, there were a lot of gaps. The strategies were very good, but the tactics, there was a disconnection between the tactics and the strategy. Now, the strategy is the overall outlay of the framework. The WFP have told you that 70 million Nigerians will be going into hunger, and 20 million acute hunger, and 3 million are in the crisis of getting hungry. That was another low area. Additionally, by 2013, you had 3.3 million IDPs. By 2022, they only reduced to 2.183 million. They're still there. We didn't do enough significantly to move these people out. IDP is just supposed to be transitory. We're supposed to do a whole lot to move them to their to apply the durable solution to be able to move them. Again, too, we abandon the knowledge, skill, competence, and that prevented the good strategy from yielding results. The strategy is, like I said, is the layout. The tactics is the people. So in the climate environment, you don't just bring anybody because it's from my area, because it's my brother. No, the man must have a large mind for climate change. Because it is no longer activism now. It is diplomacy and it is economic. Highly economic. Now, you see, so far, what did we say? We said we're only going to do 20% NDC unconditionally. The rest, we need a lot of money to help us. How are we approaching that money? How? The biggest challenge you have in Nigeria is flooding. That's another area again. You see, approaching flooding is unilateral. Unilateral in the sense that it rests on the sovereign office. You can see where California was flooded. President Biden was there on ground. FEMA was there. The member of U.S. Congress, they were there. as the president was making pronouncement, the people were their Congress were looking at the difficulties and the peculiarities, and they were giving action to it. The question I want to bring out is that we are not using a lot of our resources. You have two of the longest rivers in Africa, the Niger and the Benue. That's your own blue economy. The blue economy, you have 853 kilometers of shoreline. That's your blue economy. What is driving the world now is blue and green economy. We are not doing a lot to assess most of these things at all.
Yes, because the question many will be asking is if he has made some of this impact in environmental concerns. Are they, direct? Are the people direct beneficiaries? Is it being felt really in the lives of the people? You talked about flooding, for instance.
Yeah.
Another rainy season is here.
Yeah.
And one will be wondering whether the kind of flooding we had last year and in 2012 would not be repeated this 2023 based on the infrastructure on ground, both at the state and the federal level.
Yes, it is likely. But you see here, you have almost 5 agencies giving you annual flood outlook. What are we doing with that? We should go beyond that. You see, the agencies, NISA, should be highly resourced in manpower and in funding to be able to get what the world is saying about water movement. Water movement. Last year, it was September 13 that Lago Dam was released and everywhere was weather. The infrastructure we have, when they were being constructed, nobody have climate change in mind. We did a research funded. We use open source, focal group and everything. We found out that you are going to need about 3% of your GDP to be able to solve the problem of flooding since 2012. For a decade, you need it yearly for a decade to be able to solve. Because anytime the flooding comes, the economy is disrupted. We have this problem because, look, our knowledge is still behind the problem, highly behind the problem.